Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Select Board to order on Monday, April 24th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Please join me in saluting the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show Selectman Moody is absent. All others are present. Letter C, consent agenda warrant number 32, 4/10/23, payroll register number 15, 4/13/23, and number 16, 4/20/23.
Make a motion we accept AP warrant and payroll registry.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the warrant and payroll register as read. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Acceptance of the meeting minutes from April 10, 2024.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second. I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes from April 10, 2024. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Old business, Mr. Bean? Mr. Gopian?
None.
Mrs. Dwyer? I have none. Items of communication, Mr. Town Manager?
Alrighty, just want to thank the board on the progress at 55 Weston Avenue. The permits, Danny McKinney was in today to put permits for the foundation for the 2 units that are going up there. We've received the notice to proceed from Maine Housing, so their financing is secured, and you should be seeing some site work over the next couple of weeks up there. So that's progressing well. If you notice driving down towards the mill, towards Anson, you can see a big pile of wood chips at Timber HP. So their production will be starting up here shortly, so that's a good sign. In your packet, there's a couple of letters. One was from the Lakewood Theater. They wanted to provide an update on what they use their community funding for. They're doing work to raise up the floor, to try to level out the floor in their theater and auditorium. The other letter is a letter, offer letter I put up, but I wanted to bring to you before I finalize it. We have an opportunity to rehire a young lady named Cheyenne Stevens, who worked first as an intern for the town office and then really did a lot of work with our age-friendly project called Living Well in Madison. Cheyenne worked for us back in 2020, 2021, and she has some time now, the opportunities to kind of get back and really pick up where she left off. I have not had time to spend much attention at all on the age-friendly program, but Cheyenne did some good work while she was with us. In conjunction with that, I've talked to her about taking some training and adding to her experience as a grant writer. And that's something that the board has talked about over the last couple of months, is seeing if we can find someone to work as a grant writer. So I'm just running this by the board to see if this seems satisfactory to you. The funds to pay for this come out of the Woodlands TIF, as they had in the past. So any questions or comments from the board about that?
Excited to have Cheyenne back.
Okay, good, excellent. And that's all I have for communication items.
All right. Letter G, new business. Number 1, discuss tax acquired property. Letter A, open bids for 232 Bagley Road.
Okay, the town by 4 o'clock today received 2 bids for this property. I gave you in your packets an example of the letter that was sent out to the abutters. And in that letter it states that payments should be received within 7 days of the select board's decision. And so this is not a situation where you can make payments to the town. It's a cash deal, essentially. The other thing that I've been talking with people about, and I just want to reiterate, is that the town will issue a quit-claim deed, which is not a warranty deed. Warranty deeds are what banks use to loan money on. A quitclaim deed is not. That's one of the reasons that usually offers on tax acquired property are low, because of the quitclaim deed. So that being said, we had 2 that were given to us. The The first one comes from Peter and Lisa Malloy. And as we discussed at the previous meeting, there was a question as to whether or not they were eligible as an abutter, because there was a piece of property that they used to own between them and the Reynolds property. So what they provided was a purchase and sale agreement for them to buy back that lot in between the lots, so they would qualify the stipulations as an abutter. So their offer for the property, the Malloy's offer, is $20,232. So $22,232. The other bid for the property comes from Kathy Estes, who's the abutter on the other side, same side of the street. And Kathy Estes' bid for the property is $16,676. So $22,232 and $16,676.
Say the first one again.
The first, the Malloy's, yeah, it was 20232.
So you said 22 the second time.
I may have bumped it, right?
Okay, all right. Okay, any questions before we move forward? All right. Yes, Kathy.
I know that at the last meeting, you allowed people to say what they were gonna do with the property, what their interest was. I just sat there quietly because I didn't even know what you guys were gonna do, but I would like the opportunity to explain my perspective on it.
Yep.
I would purchase it. My plan is to have somebody within my family, a family member to be put into that property. I have, for the last 2 weeks, I've had people come in with me to explain and look through the house with me and to explain all the different situations in it, and there's many. So I've had a lot of professional people come in to explain to me what needs to be done, and how much it would be to do what needs to be done. There's necessities, obviously. It's not, right now it's not inhabitable, so I would have to obviously make it that way, and before I would have anybody go into it, I would want it to be very habitable, especially being family members. So again, I've been in there with several different professional people, and some things I would be able to do myself. Some things I would be able to do with help. Some things I could do with advice from some of the people that came in with me. Some things I wouldn't do. And then there are some things that need to be done by professional people. It would be better served to have professionals in there to do that. And I guess I would just like to be considered for, I understand I'm the lower bidder of the two, but if I was to go away with a bid tonight, I have some people that I have talked to, that are kind of a little bit on standby, but obviously with construction and what it is, they're kind of in limbo because they are waiting for items to come in. So they're kind of in limbo land right now. And if I could jump on it quick, I would have a good possibility of securing some of the things that need to be done, because it's physical stuff that would need to be done by them. They don't need materials right away. They would need them, but not right away. And I have 4 or 5 calls written down that I will jump on starting tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'd come in first and pay it, but.
All right. We could get a recommendation of one of these, or neither.
Are we gonna talk?
Mr. Moore,
Do I gotta stand up?
you don't have to, you can do whatever you want.
All right.
If you-
Well, First of all, I have plans too for my daughter and my granddaughter. They live with us right now, and it's been a dream of mine to have that place ever since my best friend moved out of there in 2004. I've lived on Bagley Road for 25 years. You know, my daughter was born on that road, literally on Bagley Road. And I would just like to have them live beside us. I've got my best friend as a carpenter, my closest friend. That's what he does for a living. And I do carpentry as well, so we know what needs to be done in there. And you know, obviously if you come down to my house and look at my lot, you know I'm very neat and I take care of my stuff, so I'm gonna do the same thing to that place. I actually, where they live, the Estes, I actually cut that lot, you know, back years ago. Me and the guy that owned the log house, so, I mean, I've been there for a long time, and I just think that someone that's been there longer should have a right to continue owning stuff on Bagley Road.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything you say?
No, I think you.
Right.
We didn't go into the place in recent years, so.
Well, I have been in it. You haven't been in it, but.
All right, so we're looking for a motion. Accept one, accept the other, or accept neither. Mr. Town Manager, you have a recommendation?
I think you've got two legitimate bids, so.
Give us something.
The deal was one that had the most money. That's what we decided last week, 2 weeks ago. Last meeting.
No, what your motion was to put out notices to the abutters with a minimum bid
Right.
to cover the taxes. You know, I really think both bids are fair. It's really up to the board as to what you want to do. I will say, if you choose to reject them both, then the next logical step would be to open it up to, you know, all bidders. However, both of these amounts are far beyond what the taxes are owed on it, and I think the property, just the land alone, is probably worth $20,000 to $30,000.
Tim, are we sure there's no liens on that at all, previous?
Of course, there's liens from town, but a quitclaim deed, the reason that the banks are always concerned about it is there is a 5-year waiting period on a quitclaim deed where somebody that could come back and make a claim to it. Now, obviously, you have family members who weren't on the deed that were trying to get this into probate, but they did not. And so, if they wanted to, they could probably hire a lawyer and try to challenge it sometime over the next few years. But you know, from what I've experienced in my correspondence with them, I don't think they're interested in doing that.
Yes.
I think both of the bids are awesome. You guys did a really good job. I'm going to make a motion that we accept the Malloy bid because it's higher, simply because it's more money for the town.
Thank you.
All right, for a second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the Malloy bid of $20,232, and I said that correctly?
You did.
All right, for the property at 232 Bagley Road. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All vote in favor.
So you got 3 in favor and
3 in favor and 1
Abstained.
abstained. Okay. All right.
all right. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, letter B, discuss update status of 20 Park Street.
So since our last meeting, the eviction has been successful and the folks that were living at 20 Park Street have moved on. I've been there to put new locks on the doors, and now there's a waiting period till May 7th to remove personal property. So if you've driven by, there's a camper out back, there's a car out back, there's all sorts of tools and whatnot. So they have until May 7th to clear that out. Frankly, the more stuff they get off the property, the less stuff the town has to get off the property. My recommendation is, after May 7th is come and gone, that the town purchase a canister to be set there for removal of items. And I've already spoke with one contractor today who is willing to take on the job of cleaning up all the material that's left over on the outside and basically hauling that off. As far as the inside of the property, once everyone's removed everything they wanted, I'll probably go through there with at least our code officer and one other contractor to get a recommendation to the town as to whether the building should be salvaged or torn down. So that's where we're at on that.
We'll wait till after after the 7th.
Right, I think you got a meeting on the 8th, so,
Oh, that'll be quick.
yeah.
Right, okay, sounds good.
Did these people, when they left, did they move into another place in Madison, or did they take over?
You know, I didn't ask, and so I'm not sure where they moved to, so.
All right, number 2, discuss town meeting warrant.
So in your packets, you should have received the final, maybe not the final one, but it's pretty good a draft for the town meeting warrant. I went through it, had a couple other people look through it. So essentially, the first 24 articles were the articles that you and the Budget Advisory Committee approved at our budget meeting back early in April. And then the remaining articles pretty much are carried forward each year with similar language and dates being updated. They have to do with wages and salaries, the tax club, authorizing the board to sell town-owned property and so forth. The only thing I'll bring your attention to that changed fairly significantly is the amount of interest that the state allows you to charge on unpaid taxes. 2 years ago, it was 6%. Last year, the state dropped the maximum to 4%. This year, with interest rates, they raised it back up to 8%. It has been our tradition to use the state's maximum. We've been at 8% 3 out of the last 5 years. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You do have some leeway on that if you want to require an interest rate less than 8%. But the 8% is the state maximum.
Okay, so we have to approve Article 1 and 2, correct? 1, 2, and 2. Those haven't been approved yet.
Right?
All right, so then Article 1 and 2 have to be approved, and then we go all the way from 3 up to 24 have been approved.
Right. And then it'd be 25
25
to
and up.
35.
Okay. All right, so when we get a motion to approve Article 1 and 2,
Make a motion to approve Article 1 and 2.
take to town meeting. All right, we have a motion and a second to take Article 1 and 2 to the town meeting. Any questions on Article 1 and Article 2? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, so we're up to Article 25. So can we take 25 and 26? It's 27 we gotta talk about, right?
Yep, that's fine.
25 and 26.
Motion to approve Article 25 and 26.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to approve Article 25 and 26. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, motion carries. All right, now, so it's Article 27. So you have an 8% rate in there. And that is as high as it can go. All
That's the state maximum, yeah.
right, is that what we want to go along with?
Is that normal?
So,
It's been 8% 3 out of the last 5 years.
the other years were we at, did they drop that?
Right, because the state dropped the maximum to 4% last year, and the year before they dropped it to 6%. So,
Mr. Gopi?
Yes, so this 8% is if somebody's late with their taxes?
right, if a tax payment isn't made by September 15th or March 15th, then interest starts accruing.
At
And
8%?
At 8%. So this is what is automatically calculated in our Trio software to start kicking in. It generates to the town about $25,000 to $30,000 a year. And that money that it generates, we count as revenue that goes right to offset taxes.
All right, so if we don't see any question with 8%, we can approve Article 27 through 35.
What? Which one?
35,
To the end.
to the end.
I got a couple questions on 30 and 31.
Okay. All right,
You wanna go to
29?
29?
All right, so let's go to 29, 27, 28, and 29. Looking for a motion to approve.
I think 8% is a lot. Especially with this time, I mean, you go right now, 8.63. And it's gonna go up come June, May.
You're talking about borrowing money, right?
Right, well, yeah,
Right.
same thing, I mean, they're charging, you're charging them 8%, bank is 8.6. I think 8% is way high.
You have the authority to set it wherever you want to. I will say there is always a state law that correlates Article 27 and Article 33. Article 33 is what the town will pay if we have overcharged someone or their taxes are abated. So if you do an abatement with interest, there's always a 4% gap between the two. So if you change Article 27 to read 7%, Article 33 automatically reads 3%, so on and so forth.
All right, what's the number we're looking for?
I don't know, I thought 6%. But that's me.
Well, let's deal with 27 then. All right, so somebody want to make a motion that we approve 6% in there, or 8%? It doesn't matter.
No, if you put 6% on Article 27, then 33 goes to 2. And that's what we pay.
That's what you would pay to someone, right?
Anybody?
Want to make a motion?
Yep, make a motion.
Alright, on number, Article 27, I'd like to change that to 6%, and Article 33, I'd like to change to 2%.
I have a motion to do that. Any second to that motion? Second? For lack of a second, that is not gonna go, so I need another motion then.
I'll make a motion that we go on Article 27 with 8%.
Second?
So a second, so we can discuss.
Yeah. Either way, I mean,
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Article 27 at 8% per annum from said dates. Anybody?
You guys have a recollection beyond the 5 years if we stayed at that state max?
I think we always have.
Always have. The state maximum has been 8% going back 10 years. It was only during COVID that they adjusted it down. And part of the rationale was that the Fed was at 0.
Yeah.
And so interest rates were already artificially low. So it went down to 6 and then 4, and then based on interest rates, going back up, the state brought it back up to 8%. But it's been 7, 8, 9% for 10, 15 years.
And we've pretty much gone with the state.
Most, at least at the time that I've been here, you've always gone with the state rate.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions to leave us at 8%? Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? 3 in favor, opposed? 1 opposed. All right. So 28 and 29, Mr. Gopin?
Yeah, no, 30 and 31.
So let's do 28. All right, looking for a motion to approve Article 28 and 29.
Make a motion to approve Article 28 and 29.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Article 28 and 29. Any questions? Seeing no questions, all those in favor? All right, all, motion carries. All right, Article 30, Mr. Gopin, you have a question?
Yes, on Article 30, it says to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to dispose of, here we have town-owned, and this other one was acquired property in the manner of selectmen is deemed to find the best interest of the town. What's the difference between acquired and town-owned?
All tax-acquired property is town-owned property, but not all town-owned property is tax-acquired property. This precedent was set at the special town meeting that you had last August in regards to 55 Weston, because the reason you had that special town meeting is because the warrant used to say tax-acquired.
Right.
And in the selling of 55 Weston, it wasn't necessarily a tax-acquired property, it was a town-owned property. So at that town meeting, this same language was put in to say that the select board's authorized to dispose of town-owned properties, and the understanding was that was going to allow the board to deal with 55 Weston, and going forward, the same language will be brought to the people every year.
So there won't be any more acquired? Is that what you're saying?
Well, every tax-acquired property fits under this category because it becomes town-owned property.
Okay.
All right, Article 30, looking to approve.
Motion to approve Article 30.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to approve Article 30. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. Article 31. Mr. Gopin?
To see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to, this time, they took out the word set and put approve in there. All wages and salaries for the coming year, except for those who already are provided for. So, you're gonna have the town manager set, and then come to the board about it?
Right, because this is something that came out of the discussions we had over the last year. There was some ambiguity, I guess, on having the select board set the wages, because in past practice, the select board hadn't really set the wages. But this language in here allows you the authority to approve the wages that are brought to you by the town manager. Now, these are things that you can approve or not approve. But rarely do we have a sit-down conversation where we go through everybody's salary and the select board sets all the salaries. More traditional, so really I'm recommending a change to that language to reflect the practice.
All right, looking for a motion.
Motion, make a motion.
We go 31 to 35.
The only thing you need to know on 35, and we've talked about this, 35 is a small edit to the site plan review. We're just taking out a clause that doubles the fee for solar projects because we've changed our fee schedule to address that. So,
All right, looking for a motion to approve Article 31 and 30 to 35.
Make a motion to accept Articles 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to accept Articles 31 to 35. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. All right, we're done with that.
If I
I could get your signatures on this final sheet, that would be helpful. You guys created a lot of extra work for me in a minute. Goodness.
Select board's concerns, Mr. Bean,
None.
Mr. Gopian, Mrs. Dwyer.
And no setbacks.
Is this your pen?
Probably.
Well, here, let's hold up. That one's out of
Um,
date.
The only one I had deals with the place on Heel Street, and
Yeah.
they're working on getting that cleaned up, and the bank can come in to clean, you hope?
So, you're referring to the property that used to be the Barney property on Heald Street. And yes, everybody knows there are dozens of bags of garbage outside that place. The property is under foreclosure by the bank, and when the bank goes under foreclosure, they're required to send a letter to the town office that shows who is in charge of that property, and usually it's a law firm. So I've been in touch with the law firm, they're down in Rhode Island, and they told me that they would send somebody to clean it up, but that's one phone call and 2 emails. I may have to make some more phone calls to remind them, because it's been over a week since I contacted them.
That's a pretty open spot right there.
I know, I know.
All right, citizens' concerns. Citizens' concerns? Yeah.
Randy Bliss, Door Lane. I just want to take this time to let you guys know that Channel 11 will be hosting a candidates forum right in this room on May 10th at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Randy. Any other citizens' concerns? All right, seeing none, I'll look for a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRS Section 406A.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to 1 MRS Section 406A. All those in favor? All in favor, the motion carries. An executive session at 7:02.